Hey guys, welcome back to my coverage of INZO. This is VaulSC, taking you through a game between ISS and Starco. My first game against the mercenary sectorial known as the Starco. And this game will be on supplies. So, never been really my favorite mission. It's not bad. Common criticism of this one is that player going first, if they're playing Nomads or Hakislam or something like that, can quite easily put smoke grenades over all of the objectives, grab them with infiltrating specialists, and run away, and quite reliably hold on to at least two of them by the end of the game through things like chain rifles, jammers, mines, crazy koalas, mad traps. You get the idea. If the enemy has an ARO piece, which is MSV, well, you just shoot it with your HMG and then you move on. Interestingly though, if you do have to go second because you didn't win the lieutenant's role, there is still an opportunity to barrage your way through, just barge your way through into the enemy lines and shoot the guy holding the box and pick it up, and that means you do less work actually having to whip check it and move it around. So if you can achieve that, great. I'd recommend having something in your list which can easily clear the stuff in the way. For example, if you've got a really fast warband trooper or a helper bot of some kind, move that in to detonate the mines and blow things up and take care of the koalas, and then move in your very powerful Rambo trooper, maybe even a drop trooper at the end of the game, and basically just grab the boxes off them. As it happened, I managed to win the lieutenant role for Thing, and I'm going to go first. Just going to grab the boxes and run. So let's just have a little bit of a talk about the battlefield. What color we're going to use here? We're going to use yellow. So we've got 3 supply crates through the center. Nomads, Starco are going to be on this side, and their deployment zone is sort of through here, just roughly. And of course, Imperial Services through here. Got my HVT down here. So this is where ISS is hanging out. You've got sort of one link team of Guangxi on this side. The Celestial Guards just generally through here, and the Guangxi just, peppered around the battlefield, free range style. Sophitect over in the corner. There's going to be a Ninja hidden deployment in through the middle, so we're going to get the Sophitect going for this one, gets a bonus with the Doctor to open the crate. Ninja going to grab this one and just generally come back through this line here. So right-hand side deployment, we've got all 4 Guangxis plus control device and the war core just hanging out. Everybody's dying prone. This is just going to really be the battery of orders. Most of my specialists are in group 2, so they're going to be fueling that. Group 1, you can see the crane rank prone on top of the building. I have a couple of different crane rank models, so I am alternating out this one with the big broadsword from Angel's painting guidebook. So these guys aren't linked at the moment, but they'll gain the link partway through the game after the Guangxi no longer need it. Just to the left of that position, you can see my sensor bot just hanging out back here. One interesting thing is that the Guangxi can use this building, which they can't really move around here because the side of the table's here. They're going to have to move around this way, which is going to mean it takes a lot longer for them to get out there. So that's a lot more time they'll be spending contributing orders rather than dying. And Sophitect, as I mentioned, are going to be moving up in this direction to grab a crate. Quite importantly, I forgot to mention that this model here, this is a Celestial Guard with, Guangxi control device and light smoke grenade launcher, is going to be able to put down smoke templates here and further up here just to help the Ninja to retreat, and do the same thing up in this area of the table with the Sophitect as well. So there she is, getting ready to pump out the smoke grenades. You can also see just inside the building there's a very small silhouette of a model here. That's my lieutenant just hanging out in the middle. No, I think that was the hacker there. The lieutenant's further back in one of the other buildings. Here we go. Just to look behind, you can see there's a Yud bot connected to the Sophitect, ready to climb up the ladder and revive the crane if needed. And the multi-sniper back here, covering some fields of fire. Most notably the position where we might see a drop trooper, possibly Raul's Spectre. My opponent, with none of his stuff painted, that's alright, it's not a tournament requirement, is running a Haris team of brawlers of some kind. There's a guy with a heavy rocket launcher, there's a Palbot here, there's some sort of brawler back down here, there's an HVT over this side. I honestly, for the life of me, can't remember who's who. I believe this is Emily Handelman. He's got some sort of assault hacker back here. There's Lunacod, Sputnik, the one with the crazy koalas and the shotgun. I think he's got a flashpole spot right at the back here. There's a Alguacil link team forming down here, most notably a guy with a multi-sniper rifle, Daktari right next to him, connected with this Palbot over here, and Alguacil missile launcher here, just covering this long line across his deployment zone, just in case I come creeping around the flanks. Another look at his link team. So what's it? Sniper rifle here, heavy missile launcher here, just some sort of pleb, probably his lieutenant here, and somebody else inside the building, and that's the Daktari there. And I can't for the life of me remember who this is. Probably a crazy koala. No, maybe not. I just can't remember. I mean, none of the stuff was painted in a lot of proxies, so it was just hard for me to figure out what was what. I did ask him, though, whenever it was relevant. Okay, so my reserve model is a Rushi, getting ready to move out now and help to destroy his ARO heavy rocket launcher in the Haris team before I start moving the Ninja and the Sophitek around. His reserve model is a camo marker, which turns out to be a bandit, and it's right next to the objective on the right-hand side of my view of the table. Okay, so initially you've got the Quangshi control device here, firing a smoke grenade over to this point. That's going to allow the Sophitek to move over to the thing and come back with it quite reliably. And also going to be putting down a smoke grenade around about here so that the Rushi can do its thing. Ninja grabs the supplies out of the box and staying prone behind it because it's blocking line of sight to the Alguacil link team at this moment. Using speculative fire to land a smoke grenade next to him just to evacuate him. So you can see 3 templates here. One of them's for the Sophitek to retreat, the other one's for the Rushi to do its shooting, and this one's for the Ninja to get out safely. So Ninja just moving down with the little supply token and is going to be free, more or less. And Rushi moving up to the cover of the stairway while staying in the smoke, although I forgot to put assisted fire for the first round of shooting. So he's taken a shot now. You can see there's a brawler or somebody with a heavy rocket launcher up there, or a Druze or whatever he's using. And there's a bit of shootout here between the Spitfire. Unfortunately for me, though, the Rushi does not immediately take him out, and I think he's able to go prone after he's hit. And there's no assisted fire on him at the moment, so I had to, spend another order after this happened to assisted fire him and then get shooting. But I didn't manage to take out the rocket launcher by the end of that. So you can see the Ninja is wound back behind this total cover wall here. It does have a little bit of height, just bear in mind that is more than a silhouette too, so this is also covering him here. He's got a handy chain rifle there to assist him. Crane's still standing down here, but later in the game he'll get up. And there's a link team being reformed over with the Celestial Guards. After the smoke dissipates, the Rushi's still going to be there as well, with assisted fire. Sophitek moving now over to the crate and picking it up, and able to move back over to basically the same location. So I've got both the supply crates about 16 inches away from my table edge, and they're just hanging out behind total cover. And if the Nomads want to come through next turn to come and take them away, it's going to be hard. They're going to run into a few arrows, probably won't have enough time to take them right back to their deployment zone. So I keep calling them Nomads, Starco. So first time I get Starco, and so many of the troopers on his side are Nomads models. Anyway, you guys get the picture. Elsewhere, coordinated orders moving the Quangshi back to where they started. We've also got the sniper rifle just hanging out here, and this is generally the defensive location. Okay, so in his first turn, he's moving over to the objective with his camo marker. Turns out to be a bandit killer hacker. Grabs the supply crate and moves backwards, just continuing to move back towards the Alguacil line here, and just hiding inside this building. So you can sort of see the doorway here. The bandit has moved generally through here and into the safety of the house. And, of course, this Lunacod is going to be able to supply some crazy koalas and lock them down also to make it really difficult for me to beat that. I've lent him some mine markers which are representing the crazy koalas at this point. So there you can see in the silhouette of the doorway, we've got a killer hacker bandit. Alright, so he's moving around with his Lunacod at this point, just having set up the crazy koalas, just repositioning him. For some reason, he decides to have a go at my Rushi with the Lunacod's boarding shotguns. Wasn't really sure, or heavy shotguns or whatever it's got. I wasn't really sure why he chose this model, because the Rushi's hitting him on a 15 on one dice, and he's firing 2 dice at medium range up against cover. It didn't seem like, the best play, if I'm to be honest with you. So That didn't really quite work out. He's also coming into sort of line of sight of this Celestial Guard, who's able to just put a smoke grenade right next to the Rishi, and if the Rishi survives, then he's going to be protected by a smoke grenade as well, which is pretty bad for the attacking army. Anyway, the Lunacod is unfortunately rendered unconscious by the Spitfire. Why not? Hitting on a 15. So I think he's now repositioning his Harris team within this tower. So they're basically staying prone, climbing down the staircase, just generally getting to better positions, and moving out. So that he's taken quite a while to move them all down the building and moving generally over to this sort of wall area to try and come around the flank and do the same thing, engage with my robot. So just generally moving them in. He's also got a Palbot able to move over there, but no engineers, so the Palbot's connected to the Dactari, not something that can revive the Lunacod, unfortunately. And then elsewhere, just this is a view of the right-hand flank where he's got I believe it's the Dactari activating, or the Alguacil. They're not really doing too much. Here we go. So he's got one of the brawlers. Can't remember what this guy's got. I think this is the one with the killer hacking device, or assault hacker. Just camped out here. So in my turn, I'm able to move out the Rushi from this position to here, and just have a go at him. And with assisted fire, it's pretty easy to wreck him. And then moving further around, just trying to get to a position where I can fire at maybe his helper bot or one of his other troopers. Before I do that, though, moving in with the sensor bot, just bringing it around here and completing the telemetry classified by hitting this corpse of the robot with Forward Observer. And now I can move back through with the Rushi to try and engage this guy. But unfortunately, he's got some sort of shotgun, and I believe the Rushi is wrecked. Now, I looked at perhaps bringing on the Garuda to combat his Alguacil here, because the Garuda will be at good range with the Mimetism. My opponent pointed out before I placed the Garuda there that he had a repeater bot. Or actually, I better talk about what happened in this specific point in the game. I placed the Garuda bot on the side of the table. He told me that, oh, actually there's a repeater. And this photo is generally taken from my side of the table, and we're playing on a physical situation where on one side of our table there's just a wall, like the side of the building, and the other side of the table is another game going on in a tournament. So it was quite awkward for me to sort of walk all the way around a few other tables and come around to the side of the table just to inspect to see if there are any repeaters there. So when my opponent said, oh, there's actually a repeater there, I said, oh, cool, well, can I just take that back and not really place the Garuda there at all? And he said, yes, that's okay. I felt like he was a bit disappointed by, having to do that. He would have much rather just caught me out and sort of punished me for just placing my Garuda without checking. But to be fair, and I think most people play it this way, if it's difficult for your opponent to sort of go around and check, it's usually quite sporting, of your opponent just to tell you, watch out, there's going to be something that's going to hack you. Also, this particular situation wouldn't have made a lot of difference in the game. Had he just hacked me straight away, I would have shot his hacker and then reset and then attacked. It just would have cost me more orders. Besides, the Garuda ends up not doing very much here at all. What happens in the game is the Garuda moves out, shoots Alguacil, gets revived by the Dactari in his turn, and then he just kills me. So I do want to point out there that my opponent at least let me get away with, going and shooting the hacker first. So the Rushi does destroy the hacker. The Garuda comes through and then shoots Alguacil, goes into suppression fire. And I'm doing a bit of hot swapping here where the Ninja is going camo to drop the objective and the Quangshi's grabbing it and moving it over towards my lines because the Quangshi's in a different group from the Ninja. What he's able to do, of course, is move it through here into the building, right into the corner, and go prone with it. So anything wanting to kill him is going to have to literally come around to this spot here. It's going to have to get past this Celestial Guard, get past this Celestial Guard, the Ninja himself, the Crane's going to be standing up later on. So he's going to be in a fairly well-defended spot. Okay, so there's our Rushi having been destroyed by a shotgun of some kind. And yeah, that part of the battlefield generally is a bit of a mess. So here we go, my opponent using the Dactari to revive the Alguacil and reform the link. Jaguar moving around, I'm just deciding to shoot him with the Garuda. Trades with the Garuda, gets hit by the chain rifle. The Garuda removing the Jaguar. At this point, I just want to make sure he has as few orders as possible in the last turn, because the fewer orders he's got, the less chance he has of actually moving over and successfully retrieving those boxes. Moves in around with some sort of robot flash pulse or something like that. Moving towards my lines. I can't remember what his plan was, but I think he was trying to do some sort of hacking maneuver and then found out that, you know, he couldn't actually achieve what he was trying to achieve or something like that. This part of the game's hazy for me. The only thing I remember is that he just moved the bot until he wasn't a line of sight. And then he tried to do the classified objective where you use data scan. But unfortunately, data scan says within your zone of control, not within your hacking area. So a repeater doesn't extend your zone of control, it just extends your hacking area. So this little play he made here just didn't really do anything, sadly. So that was just something he realized. What he does do, however, is moves in some sort of brawler here to come into close combat with my Rushi and coup de grace. That allows him to continue moving to try and get something happening, but unfortunately moves into line of my Celestial Guard with Smoke Grenade Launcher, who just pops the smoke here to defend. And that's all he can really do. So on my turn, Guangxi again moving out, impetuously, shall we say. Coming into line of fire of the Brawler and not really getting much done. Of course, the Brawler's got just a rifle, I think it is. So moving the sensor bot around to try and nab him. Gunning him down with the, I think, combi rifle. If that wasn't the case, I've got a sniper rifle here as well and a crane, so they can all stand up. So yeah, this guy just gets pummeled eventually. Moving around with the Yudbot and the Sophitek. The Sophitek's just trying to come into a location where he can hide, so Sophitek coming all the way around the back here, going prone behind this little planter, going into suppression fire. I'm expecting that he might try and bring a drop troop around this side of the table and then move through to either shoot... maybe shoot the Sophitek here and then use this window to fire at the Guangxi through there and make sure that I drop the boxes, because if he can kill both these models, then he wins. Suppression fire set up by the sensor bot. Guangxi going impetuous into the flash pulse spot, actually not using impetuous, just attacking normally and trading with them, trying to remove an order, and the Warcore moving into line of sight of the Alguacil, and yeah, gets shot at and guts is back behind the wall, even though he survives with passing both of his armor saves. Yep, Guangxi is just moving around to protect the area with the chain rifles. And that's sort of what we look like. So Ninja's back into camo again, Crane is keeping a watchful eye over the battlefield and just having to wait for my opponent to commit to his last turn to try and take the boxes back. Now, Raoul's Spectre appears on the side of the table. Now, my opponent knows that he's being a bit desperate here, and he knows that the Crane's going to shoot at him. So this is not like, you know, the situation we had with the Garuda where he just couldn't, where I just couldn't physically see any repeater or anything that could ARO. He could physically see that it was going to get ARO by the Crane for free initially, and then shot back at, in a face-to-face roll after he starts moving with his boarding shotgun. So his odds of surviving aren't great. He was surprised when I said, oh, I'm shooting twice because I'm on a link team, but I did have a link team marker, like, just sitting there, so it wasn't really a matter of me misinforming my opponent here. So Raoul Spectre stands down, shot by the Crane, and is actually wrecked. So the play that he could potentially make here was a bit of a long shot, desperate one. It doesn't end up working. I think he's got another Brawler hanging out around here, but once the Brawler moves around, he's getting shot at by the multi-sniper, the Crane, the sensor bot, just moving in to make the final play and getting riddled by bullets, absolutely perforated as he moves in here. He's even got a PAL bot to move through and try and revive the corpse of the guy, but there's a chain rifle going off on all three models here as he does so. So the Starco attempt to retrieve the boxes was not fruitful, and Imperial Services end the game with 2 supply crates to the 1 supply crate in Starco, and I've picked up at least one of my classifieds, if not both of them. So a pretty major win to Imperial Service, and that's going to help me come back into the tables. 2 wins, 1 loss. We'll see how we go for the following day with the next 2 games. Now coming up next.